All right, hey everybody, welcome back to yet another edition of the RnRGzrs show. A new year, 2023. 2022 had its moments, but we sure are glad to start a fresh year out, and we're glad you joined us for sure. Be sure if you can, if you haven't yet, subscribe and like some videos and all that good stuff. Check us out on all the podcast sites and whatnot. And getting into the new year here, I'm glad to have this man by my side, my best buddy. That would be Doc Vox. How you doing, Doc?
Doing quite well, Murph. Quite well. Yes, another year. Looking forward to doing this every week again for a whole year, man. It's a blast, man. Just sharing the rock and roll news with the good folks, and appreciate every one of you that views. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. And yeah, lots to go over, man. Lots and lots to go over. So
Absolutely, yeah. But before we do, let me remind folks that, especially the ones in our area, in the Chicago area here, that the season pass for the lawn at the Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, that deal ends on Friday, January 6th. So you got a few more days if you want to get a season pass on the lawn. It seems that they ended it rather early this year. I believe last year it
well,
was up till March.
well, that's what they didn't start till it was like around St. Patty's Day, I think. I think it was probably the same amount of time, 2-3 weeks, something like that. But yeah, doing it much earlier, much sooner, rather, I should say. And
Yeah, get it in, get your tickets,
I
and
think unfortunately,
join
what may
us.
be scaring some folks off is just they haven't announced a whole lot of the lineup yet, but yeah, guaranteed, the ones that they've announced going to be a good time, and guaranteed there'll be plenty more. So
Oh yeah, a lot. There'll be a lot more concerts coming up on that. So speaking of concerts, it sounds like you know Foo Fighters, having dealt with the death of their drummer Taylor Hawkins in quite a public way, and they made a statement recently that gives all their fans a lot of hope. I will say this. Let me read a statement for you here. They say, as we say goodbye to the most difficult and tragic year that our band has ever known, we are reminded of how thankful we are for the people that we love and cherish most, and for the loved ones who are no longer with us. It goes on. Foo Fighters were formed 27 years ago to represent the healing power of music and a continuation of life. And for the past 27 years, our fans have built a worldwide community, a devoted support system that has helped us get through the darkest of times together. A place to share our joy and our pain, our hopes, our fears, and to join in a chorus of life together through music. Without Taylor, we never would have become the band that we were. And without Taylor, we know that we're going to be a different band going forward.
all right,
But we also know that you, the fans, meant to, as much to Taylor as he meant to you. And we know that when we see you again, and we will soon, bingo, there's a key sign right there.
yeah, oh yeah.
He'll be in spirit with us every night. So oh yeah, I'm sure they're gonna get a banger behind the drums for sure. I'm sure they're gonna have a. I can't wait. Sadly, I'm sure they won't be coming to the amphitheater, Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, because they're going to be hitting, I imagine, the big dogs, eh?
Yeah, one of the big stadiums, I'm sure. Yeah. So yeah, kind of reading between the lines there a little bit. Sounds like they may even kind of have something free in the works, maybe kind of saying we'll see you real soon. So um, yeah, going forward, are they going to get a big name drummer or somebody else? But wouldn't it be something to get Matt Cameron? He's already played with Soundgarden and Pearl Jam. Yeah, I just told him with Foo Fighters too. But
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know. We'll
absolutely.
see if they get a totally new guy. They Taylor Hawkins wasn't the original drummer for Foo Fighters. They had a guy named William Goldsmith. So
Yeah,
I'm not sure what he's doing these days, but
I'm sure.
I'm sure he'd be glad to come back. But no, I'm
Yeah,
sure they'll get somebody.
yeah, I imagine he'll jump at the chance at that. So
Maybe they'll get Taylor's young son Shane, who made his debut at the tribute concert,
sort of.
or the young lady, what's her name, Nandy Bushnell. You know what I'm talking about? The 12-year-old girl that
Oh
played the
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Maybe they'll get her.
No, that would bring many problems, I'm sure. But yeah, they'll be
Child
out.
labor laws and whatnot. Yeah.
Oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, they'll be out I'm sure it's probably, this year. I imagine we'll be hearing about a tour coming up shortly. They would not have whipped that cryptic message to us otherwise. So
Yeah. Yeah.
and
I guess
you gotta expect Dave Grohl, he's had enough sitting around. He's not a guy to sit around. He's always got
right.
multiple irons in the fire all the time. Yeah,
And this is
so
his biggest iron. So yeah, he's gonna have something going. So
absolutely,
yeah,
yeah,
good, good.
yeah,
Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it, man. It's awesome.
yeah. It really is. It's really good for them. And
You know
yeah,
what, too, before we go too far, I wanted to bring this up. Being New Year's and whatnot. I don't know what you did over New Year's Eve. I just kind of took it easy. But did you watch any of the network celebrations or whatever they had?
they're too cheesy. It just
Yeah, Dick
I
Clark's
tried.
Rocket Eve, whatever. Yeah.
Right, Channel 7. I tried, I flipped through all the networks and it's just all so cheesy. It's so Hollywood
Yeah.
and before we go on, I don't get it. The Times Square. Okay,
Oh, per
people
bingo.
people start lining up there in the morning, like
They got to be wearing diapers,
early.
right?
They got to be wearing diapers because
Gotta
there's
be.
no washrooms anywhere, and they're staying there for 12 hours or plus, even more
Yeah,
than
oh
that,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
longer
yeah.
than that. I don't. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's got to be horrifying. Oh, geez, it smell like an old folks' home or
And then
something.
they
Yeah.
all got to wear that goofy Planet Fitness shit because they sponsor it every year or whatever.
But
But
I don't get it. You got to stand there for 12 hours just to, geez.
yeah, I don't. I talk about it almost every year. Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
I just don't get it.
But I was watching on one of the networks. I can't remember which one, but they had Miley Cyrus
Yeah,
and then with Dolly Parton was kind of co-hosting or whatever,
sure.
and they had a point where they did a duet together. They did one of her songs, one of Dolly's songs.
I know where you're going. I
It was
know where you're
real big
going with
one.
this.
And
I got the picture.
and then out of the blue, go ahead. It's got to be out of the blue. Out of the blue, here's David Byrne of Talking Heads. We haven't heard from David Byrne in I don't know how long, since the 90s anyway. I don't know.
I believe he's retired the big suit a long time ago. Yeah, I haven't heard. I thought, wow.
He's been doing stuff. He's still putting out albums and stuff, but not real mainstream type stuff or anything, and definitely not in the limelight or anything. But here he is on New Year's Eve with Miley Cyrus doing a David Bowie song, and he looked like it reminded me. Remember on the Breakfast Club, this Barry Manilow? No, you rated his wardrobe. He kind of looked like that, and along with his hair and makeup people, man.
Oh
It
boy.
was just such a surreal moment. It was I couldn't believe what I was watching. I was just like stunned watching. And then later he came out and God, what's the one the girl with the hair in her face, Sia.
Ah,
Yeah, the kind of a
see
pop
ya.
yeah, Sia. And come out and was duetting with her as well. So I man, for the life of me, I can't figure that one out. Maybe we'll hear
David
more
Byrne.
about it. Maybe he's got something brewing. Maybe he's starting to try to get back into the the
You're about
zeitgeist a little
2 decades too late, though.
Oh
That's
man,
amazing. Well, it just pops out of nowhere. He looks like a professor, of entomology or something, for crying out loud.
right.
How bizarre is that?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was so bizarre. It was surreal. It was absolutely surreal watching it. So
Yeah, I couldn't watch any of that. I was gonna watch. I tried to watch CNN, but they forbade them from drinking because in previous years the hosts would just get just
yeah,
blazingly drunk, and
which
schnockered, and
is
just.
yeah,
But this
that's more
year,
fun to
no.
watch.
They actually missed the countdown too. They were doing some dance at some goofy
Oh
song,
my gosh.
and they missed the countdown by quite a while, quite a bit. So,
Oh my god. Yeah, good, great
but
planning there.
speaking of Miley Cyrus, I saw, we all know our favorite douchebag, and that would be Morrissey. Look at her. He looks like maybe, come and fix my plumbing. He looks like a plumbing contractor on vacation. It just, yeah, I don't get it. But apparently,
Like a
my
plumbing contractor on vacation.
doesn't it?
All right,
See
yeah,
that?
why not? I'll go with it.
Yeah, with the shirt and whatnot. Yeah, yeah. No. But anyway, yeah, Miley was on his album apparently.
Or was going to
bonfire
be,
of
yeah,
teenagers. She was
yeah.
going to be. And then apparently she put the kibosh on that at the last minute. So she's all sorts of in the news too. Oh man.
Yeah, that whole album's a mess, I guess. I guess Morrissey was with Capitol. It was his label, Capitol Records.
Okay.
And he kind of left them and, not such great terms. And supposedly the album's done and Capitol has, they have the record. It's in their hands what to do with it. And yeah, she sang on the record. Now she wants her. There was a few people on Chad Smith and Flea from Chili Peppers.
Right.
Iggy Pop was on it.
Wow.
And it was just, yeah, Iggy Pop and Morrissey. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, be that as it may. But yeah, so everything's just kind of hanging in limbo as far as that goes. And they didn't really disclose, or I never saw anyway why Molly pulled out. I don't know. Maybe she's just because he's a douche. Just out of douchery,
that could very well be
pulling out the douche clause. Hey, no, I can't work with a douche.
Wow. Well, she's going to be around a while. It appears like maybe she's maturing a little bit. If Dolly Parton's playing with her, maybe she's getting her shit together, because she seems like she's always been a rebellious one, going against whatever. But
yeah,
it seems, who knows? She may be a superstar in the future. She's all right now. I don't care one way or another. Good riddance. But and here's another. We always talk about age and whatnot, and here's U2. U2, the Adam Clayton. He's talking about U2 going on tour without Larry Mullen Jr. And here we go, man. Here we go.
Well, basically, they're saying they're up there in age. I'm not sure. They got to be around 60-ish. And quite honestly, I just recently heard between the four of them, $2 billion. Between the four of them, there were $2 billion.
Wow.
Of course, most of that's Bono, but nonetheless, I'm sure the rest of them are 300 to 400 million minimum. But yeah, he's just talking about how just playing the drums like that and that style for that long is just taking its toll on him, and he's just kind of decided maybe he won't go out this time. So we kind of talked about that, especially with drummers.
I'm amazed at drummers. Especially ones getting on in the years, because that's brutal. That's not only brutal on your joints, but it is totally brutal on my heart. Or not my heart, but on the heart. Because it's just herky jerky. There's no really very little fluidity. It's all herky jerky stuff, especially the metal guys doing it.
Insane. Yeah.
It's insane. So these older, these old drummers, your Phil Collins couldn't do it anymore. All these
right
older guys, they had their day, but time's catching up, man.
And just thinking about it just dawned on me. I can't think of anyone else. I think U2 is the longest standing same lineup, right? I know really? It was ZZ Top, and then Dusty passed.
Oh, right.
I believe it's U2 probably.
I'll be darned.
I can't think of anyone that's been together longer and never, you look like Aerosmith. Yeah, they got the same guys now, but there was a while Joe Perry wasn't in the band.
Right. Well, hey.
So I think they're the longest running. I don't know.
But
nonetheless, he's been playing for a long time, and probably time to hang it up. And like I said, he doesn't really need the money. So I
still think South Park's characterization of Bono is the best thing ever.
Yeah,
that is so funny.
Yeah, it's classic.
But so we'll see what happens. So apparently U2 is going to be going on tour, though, if they're talking about
right. Yeah, that's what they're talking about.
Not making it. So
and they're kind of on my short list, my bucket list. I've never seen them and would love to. So
that would probably be
I'm sure it's shelling out a few donuts, but I might have to do that one.
Yeah, I've seen Bono in earlier concerts, and he's quite the presence.
Oh yeah.
He's really There's a reason why they're one of the biggest groups in the world. There's no faking it there. But wow, dig that. But here we go again. the continuing saga of Journey, and it's so sad. It's like they're all after each other now.
Yeah.
It's not just it's Steve Perry. They've he's
Yeah.
been filing on them and stuff, and now it's I found out a little more about Neil Sean bitching about Jonathan Cain. Jonathan Cain did a gig in Mar-a-Lago where he played a Journey song. Apparently, just one, but that's all it took
Right.
because of the political implications and whatnot of that. So Neil Sean actually filed an injunction against Cain for performing the song.
Yeah.
Now this is after the fact, so I imagine he's doing this just to keep from in the future from
Yeah.
letting him play that. But what a sad state of affairs. Just one song, but he played it at Mar-a-Lago, and we all know, Trump is the devil. So maybe Sean is trying to keep politics out of it. If that's the case, fine. But then, oh man, Jonathan Cain blasted back. Holy cow! He says basically that Neil Sean, he's been damaging the Journey name for years. You want to hear a statement? It's pretty great.
Absolutely.
Okay, so here we go. After Sean blasted Cain for all this, Cain shot back. Neil Sean should look in the mirror when he accuses me of causing harm to the Journey brand. I have watched him damage our brand for years and been a victim of both his and his wife's bizarre behavior. Neil sued Live Nation twice, losing both times and damaging our ability to even work with them again. That's sort of a big deal there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Live
Yeah.
Nation owns everything. Here we go again. Continuing. Neil outrageously tried to take away trademarks from Steve Perry. Neil and his wife continually insult the professionalism of numerous accountants, road managers, and management firms with endless legal threats and then bullying toxic and inherent emails. Neil argues online with fans who don't see eye to eye with him, and Neil and his wife recklessly spend Journey's money until there is none left for operating costs. If anybody is destroying the Journey brand, it is Neil and Neil alone. Boom! Oh, now, if any of that's true,
I believe every word of it. I believe
you?
every word of his statement. Yes, I do. I tell you, this has got to be the most dysfunctional band out there. Little did we know, underlying, the poor management, just not poor man, just almost no management. And and remember we talked about they didn't even have anything trademarked until like 2005. And I gotta believe. Well, the whole thing. Well, starting off, yeah, you got. First we had Steve Perry was suing them for licensing songs for different things, and then Sean was suing Cain over control over finances and records, and now you got this, and the icing on this cake, they're going out on tour. They're going out in a little while this summer. They're going out with Toto.
Wow.
So
yeah,
they're doing the States, and then they're going across the pond over to Europe. So, man, this is like the most dysfunctional band ever, man. I don't know how they're.
Yeah, how are they managing? This is crazy.
Just reading that statement, how can they look each other in the eye every night and perform, man? It's unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah, that is crazy. But he sued Live Nation twice and he lost. That right there is a huge deal. Live Nation's it's a big dog on the block, and if that hurts their chances to really that is a huge thing right there. I didn't know about him suing them twice, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he just seems like a really kind of stubborn guy, and like his he'll prove his way, and that kind of thing. And he seems to be biting off more than he can chew, And
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Well, then he pissed off, accountants, managers, management, blah blah blah. He's pissing everybody off.
well, remember
So,
we reported a while back he took over as manager. Remember
oh
there was a
God.
whole power struggle thing where Ross Valerie and Steve Smith ended up getting booted out of the band, and they right after they placed themselves as president, and I can't even keep up with all of it. But yeah, that's so dysfunctional over there. And I don't know, there'll be more to come, and we've been saying that, and it's we've been true to our word every time. There's been more to come, so I'm sure there will be more.
Unreal. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, moving on from boy, the dysfunctional journey. My gosh, it's just crazy. Now, I've never heard of this group before, Sabaton. But this article in Loudwire, it was a pretty interesting read. Talking about how basically they would end up losing money on their upcoming tour. And the reason being, it makes a lot of sense. A lot of these groups, they sold tickets last year, the year before, and all these tours got canceled out. They based all their logistics and their pricing on the prices 2 years ago. And so now they're supposed to go back on tour, and all the prices have increased immensely.
Yeah.
So they're right. Yeah. Recently they lost 20 grand on a gig, and a lot of the reason is too. And
Wow.
you brought this up. You brought this up how venues are getting a chunk of the merchant stuff,
Yeah.
and it's just a brutal cutthroat game out there right now. I don't blame any
Well,
of them.
yeah, we've been talking about how hard it is for bands. I mean, obviously, established bands, legacy bands, they got that's a whole different business almost. But these bands, they're trying to make it and trying to get footing going in the business. It's almost impossible. And then we're throwing this dimension that we haven't even talked about, where they're operating on sales from 2-3 years ago at prices from now, and you just can't compete. And so to be losing 20 grand on a tour, man, that's
Yeah, you're supposed to make money. And you mentioned how some bands even have to pay to join a tour. I mean,
yeah.
it's a total cut rate, ridiculous situation out there. So more power to them. I hope they can,
It's no wonder why rock's dying out, man. It's just no wonder. It really is,
Yeah. Oh, here's a great picture of her, Priscilla Presley. Oh, this is a great story. I can't wait to hear what she comes up with. Boy, oh boy, Priscilla Presley on her In Conversation UK tour. She says, I'm not going to hold anything back. We will see, because there's a lot of books out there about Elvis, and yeah, he was one whacked out dude, man. I'm telling you back. She says that people are going to understand Elvis even better. Well, the guy was whacked out of his mind, so
Well, at this point, I mean, we're going on what, 45 years, going on 46 years after his death.
77, I think.
Yeah, 77. He died in August. I believe it was August 18, 77. But he, there hasn't been much that hasn't been said. But obviously, anybody that knows anything that hasn't been said, she'd be the one. And she said she's not holding anything back. Because that's her plastic surgeon's job.
Hi-yo. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What a shame. What a shame.
But I wonder how much is going to be said of the fact that she was 14 when she hooked up with Elvis.
Oh man.
I mean, she was 21 when they got married, but when they first got together, when he was over in Germany in the army, she was 14. So
yeah. Well, she says, it's taken me a while to get to this point in my life where I'm comfortable to fully share with the audience. I'm so protective of Elvis and Graceland in our life. This will be more about Elvis the man, not the entertainer. Oh boy. Well, we know he liked white cotton panties. That we do know. He dug women with white cotton panties. And I've got a story I can't share with you because I just can't. with about Natalie Wood, him and Natalie Wood. But I have to leave that to your imagination.
Is that Googleable? Is that on Google?
I'm not sure. Back in the day, a legendary disc jockey named Steve Dahl. Steve Dahl and Gary Meyer had a show, and
you may know from Disco Demolition.
Disco Demolition, yeah. And he talked about some of the books out there, and I just, yeah, he liked white cotton panties, yeah. But yeah, and of course Nixon made him a
honorary
drug agent, and he was whacked out on drugs when he got that.
But they were all prescribed.
Prescribed. That was his excuse. Well, hot damn, baby, my Dr. Nick, he prescribed me all these drugs, so they's good. He had so many drugs in his system.
And I've heard stories where he had the I don't know, whatever the book called that physicians use to reference.
Okay. Physician's reference guide.
Yeah, and he knew it better than doctor. I want some of this. I want some of that. And that's when he would go and Dr. Nick would hook him up, and So.
Dr. Nick, yeah. But that's she won't talk about that. I'm sorry. I don't believe she's gonna go real deep into his crap. Him and the Memphis Mafia, going around arresting people and shit because they got
that's been made. It's Elvis. He's been great. He's gone as high as anybody and been as low as just by anybody, I suppose.
Damn, baby.
Made fun of, but if you've ever been to Graceland, it's quite an experience, man. It's quite an experience. They're in the jungle room and all that good stuff. It's
cool. No doubt. You been there or what?
Yeah, I've been to Graceland. Yeah.
Hot damn, baby.
Yeah, and he's got the plane out back, the Lisa Marie. You can go on the plane and all that good stuff. So
how cool! A lot of velvet and shit, huh?
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I wonder if Priscilla will be talking about Detective Frank Drebin from the Naked Gun series.
I would hope so. Nice beaver.
Yeah.
Thanks. I just had it stuffed. Yeah, that's a great movie. Yeah. And she was excellent in the movie. God bless her. All right, freaking A. So yeah, we'll see if she really lays a smackdown on Elvis or if it's just gonna be all fun and games and whatnot.
Yeah, it's gonna be some softball questions, I'm sure. But
yeah. Oh, and here we go. Yeah, I did not know this lady's name, but I knew her style. And that would be Vivian Westwood.
Miss Vivian Westwood, Dame Vivian Westwood. She is a dame of some sort of. I don't think so. I know there's different levels, but we'll get into that. But
bloody well.
Yeah, you may know her. She was a big part of the whole punk thing. She basically was responsible for the fashion and the style of punk in Britain, back in the mid 76, 77. So it all started there. Her shop was called Sex, kind of bondage clothing and that kind of thing, and just offbeat clothing. And she had that shop with Malcolm McLaren, who started the Sex Pistols and then put them together, and that was all done out of her shop. Chrissy Hine worked there in her shop, and she was for somebody that didn't play a note or ever be in concert or anything, she had a lot to do with the punk movement. So
I'll be darned. The safety pins. She introduced safety pins, all that crazy punk stuff that you've seen. That was her doing, man.
What that came from was Richard Hell over in New York, and Malcolm McLaren had seen him and then brought that back and said, "Hey, these guys are wearing safety pins. Let's make that a style." And the whole thing with the garbage bags, all that stuff. So the whole punk look was pretty much her. Yeah.
I'll be darned. Very cool. So the legends are bugging out. Oh boy. Incredible. Yeah, so there she goes. Oh, this surprised me, actually. I thought this had already happened. Brian May, legendary guitarist with the Queen. There he is right there with over. I don't know if that's the original or not.
I believe so.
That's the original
guitar he's ever had, as far as I know, yeah.
Yeah, And his dad made that guitar. I think I talked about it before, out of a fireplace mantle, a mahogany fireplace mantle. And especially the first few albums, the tone of that guitar stands out. It's like none other. It just sounded like no
Oh yeah.
other guitar, and
Oh
it
yeah.
still does. I mean, it
Yep.
just no other guitar sounds like that. And boy, oh boy, and they finally made him a sir. They knighted him. They
Yeah.
gave him the knighthood. Good for him. I thought he was already knighted, for crying out loud.
You know, there's a few rock folks that have been knighted. Got a list here. Also, people may know he's a doctor, an astrophysicist. He's a
Yes.
PhD astrophysicist. So
Yeah, so he's no dummy.
yeah, he's but
Yeah.
yeah, I guess there's different levels. There's a commandant of the British Army, and then there's knighthood, and you know, there's different levels. So he was already a commandant of the British Army, so now he's been
Ooh,
knighted.
all right.
Other rock stars that have been knighted, real quick.
Yeah.
Mick Jagger, we may know Mick
Okay.
Jagger, Elton John, Rod Stewart, Ringo Starr, and Paul McCartney. We knew Paul. I didn't know Ringo. Ringo's been knighted.
Ringo, huh?
Sir Ringo.
Yeah.
Going with the Beatles, George Martin. George Martin's been knighted.
Oh, yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
Barry Gibb,
Oh,
Ray Davies of the Kinks.
huh.
And there's been some honorary
Okay.
knighthoods given to basically Irish folks. And you know, if you're not British, you can't be knighted, I guess. So we got
Right.
the honorary one. And actually, the first rock star to do that was Bob Geldof.
Yeah.
He was the first
For
one
his
with the
work
Live
with
Aid thing. Yeah,
Live
the
Aid.
Live
Yeah.
Aid. So,
Sure.
but he's Irish, so it's an honorary knighthood. Bono's too, Sir Bono. But I guess they don't get the sir part of it because they're honorary. I don't know.
Well, we know about Bono too. He's the
Yeah.
biggest bottle, according to
And
South Park.
Ravi Shankar has been knighted.
Ah,
Yeah, that surprised me. Or honorary, I should say. And Van Morrison
okay.
also. There has been a rock star that has declined.
I'm gonna guess you actually you haven't told me, and I haven't looked it up. But I gotta say, if Mick Jagger was knighted, I have to guess that they wanted to bring in Keith too, but he declined. Am I correct?
You are not correct.
No, who is it?
David Bowie.
No kidding.
Yeah, Bowie declined knighthood.
Wow, come on, Bowie. Hey,
Don't go for that sort of thing.
you bunch of wankers. That's probably what he said. You're all a bunch of wankers. I don't care. That surprises me though. I think that he'd be honored to have something like that bestowed upon him.
It's kind of a proper English chap, but yeah.
Oh yeah. I'll be down. David Jones didn't want it.
Yeah.
I'll be dog.
Oh, also knighted or honorary. Or I'm not sure which one because he's Welsh, so I think that still falls under the UK.
Tom Jones.
Tom Jones.
Oh, you said Welsh.
Yeah, Tom Jones has been knighted. So, all right.
Not unusual.
That's not unusual.
No.
You know what? I heard something of his recently of him singing something stunning.
Really?
Oh,
really?
Absolutely. Yes.
Still got the pipes, man.
Yeah, he's got to be 80 by now, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, good for him, man. Yeah, he's had them pipes, and you know, it's he one of his songs made one of the lists of the worst songs ever. That's "What's New, Pussycat."
Yeah.
You know, being all politically correct and crap. That's so horrible. Yeah. It's a great song.
But it was the title of a movie.
It was
a soundtrack of a movie too. So you know.
Yeah, here. So Geezer had pneumonia last week. So I'm not sure if he's up and at him again. But you know jeez, a lot of this sickness around this. If it's not the flu, it's the COVID. I've had something for quite a while. You had something for quite a while, but it wasn't real bad. Yeah. And I just got over probably the flu. I'm not even bothering testing for COVID anymore. It's like whatever. You know, it's the flu at this point with me. But Geezer had pneumonia. That's pretty badass.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be too severe though. His wife Gloria, she was kind of joking and kind of good spirits. So by all accounts, seems like he'll be fine. But yeah, I'd like to keep up with our geezers, see what they're doing, and
Yeah, trying to hang in there.
we got a geezer down right now, but I'm sure he'll be back in action.
True that. Yeah. So hang in there, geezer. Hang the hell in there. What we got here? Got some Van Halen news. You got some Van Halen stuff you want to talk about?
Oh, sure, a couple things. Not so much Van Halen in the band, but just some different things. This is a story that came up. I don't know how or why, but between Gene Simmons and the Van Halen camp, there's always something coming up. In this case, it was both of them. So many of you may know Gene Simmons discovered Van Halen. But actually, now if you actually go into it, Paul Stanley discovered Van Halen, and Gene took credit for it, basically. Well, Paul discovered him, told Gene, "Hey, you got to check out this band." That's how I took him in. Next thing he knows, Gene's backstage with him, discovering him. So, anyway, so Gene discovers Van Halen, and he was talking about at one point Eddie Van Halen wanted to be in Kiss.
Eddie Van Halen wanted to be in?
Eddie Van Halen wanted to be in Kiss. He didn't like working with David Lee Roth. This was like in '79. So this is after 2 albums, maybe even working on the 3rd, probably.
Wow.
So at that point, he was talking about how he'd had enough with Dave. And that just wouldn't get and to Gene's credit, he kind of said, "Hey man, you're bigger than Kiss, man. Don't there's no room for you in Kiss. Don't
no, that's 2 different animals there." Eddie's guitar
or not
playing.
So much that they're bigger than Kiss, but he just said there's no room for you in Kiss, that kind of thing.
Well, he's right about that.
Yeah, and there's that. Yeah.
No, that's a very odd. Yeah, that would have been. Yeah, that wouldn't have worked. What are they going to paint Eddie up as? Really.
Oh yeah.
No, that
character,
oh boy,
the Frog Man or something. Who knows what it is,
yeah, exactly. What the hell? That ain't gonna cut it.
Boy or Frog Man or who knows? But yeah, just kind of one of Gene's things. I'm sure he's kind of boasting on. But it kind of made me think though. If Eddie kind of knowing, seems like if this is true, feeling pretty early on that things weren't going to work out with Dave. I mean, do you still continue with a band that's kicking ass, even if you feel it's doomed? You know what I mean? I guess if you feel you got what it takes to make it, but not to maintain it, you still want to make it,
Yeah.
I guess you worry about that first and the rest later, but
I'll be darned. Yeah, but boy, yeah, that wouldn't have worked. That definitely wouldn't have worked. Jeez. Then of course Wolfie. Oh, Wolfie, he's been in the news, and it's a good thing. Quite honestly, as far as I'm concerned, he's putting out a second album, getting the second album together, and he's doing everything himself, all the instruments himself.
Yeah, he did that on the first album, on the debut. It was all him.
And apparently he feels the need he has to defend his decision to do that. I disagree.
I don't see he needs to defend it at all. No, hell no.
I think it's the best thing ever. He says, "I've already recorded the bulk of the next album. The plan is just focus and try and do the best that I can do. After all, that's what's made the first album work. So I'm looking to try to capture that ethos again with the follow-up. Basically, I just write music that follows my heart and my taste, and ultimately music that makes me happy. And if he can play all the instruments himself, that eliminates all sorts of things. I'm lucky enough. I'm one of the guys that can lay down songs, except for lyrics, obviously. I can lay down complete songs with instruments, drums, everything like that. And I dig it. When you don't have to, when you know what you want and you can perform it yourself, I really, that's not selfish at all. That's
no, it's not
level of excellence as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, he's kind of worried that it's come across as selfish, but I don't think so. I mean, it's his art. If he can totally complete the art himself, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's ultimately what you want, I would think. So,
and a lot of guys do that. A lot of guys do that. Tom Schultz from Boston, that first Boston album, he sat down in his basement, basically did it all himself, and then brought in the other players to finish out his
Yeah.
brainchild.
Well, the
So
first Foo Fighters album, that was all Dave Grohl.
see,
So yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
guys do it all the time.
So good for him. It's great to have that ability. I love it, man. I think it's so cool. But way to go, Wolfie. I'm looking forward to hearing the second one, and I'm sure he'll be hitting on a tour soon enough. So very cool. Oh, before I forget, yeah, this came up here. Billy Idol is going to be the first new star on the Walk of Fame. How about that for the year 2023? Yeah, yeah, they're putting it up in a couple of days, January 5th. Billy Idol's getting his own star on the Walk of Fame. So hey, that's just a quick fast fact that came across my feed here. So yeah, good for him,
And I'm
man.
sure that's a legit one too, because a lot of people buy them. They can be
Like
bought.
35,000, I
Yeah, I
think.
don't know what the
I think it's
going
yeah,
rate is, but yeah, they can be
something like
bought.
that.
So I think he's probably legit. I think yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah,
just for
and
his performance in the Wedding Singer on the plane.
right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Billy Idol knows or what's it, right. Yeah, yeah. So and I follow his guitarist Steve Stevens on Facebook.
Oh yeah, he's
And
awesome.
yeah, yeah, they still kicking ass. I love Steve Stevens guitar playing, I did some of the Billy Idol songs when I was playing in bands, and he's got a great style. A lot of players will play a full chord, six strings. A lot of times he'll only get three of the strings and play just those three strings. And once you hear it, you really understand it. It's very cool. You hear a lot of it on a lot of his songs. He's got a really great way of playing, and he's still kicking ass. He's still got the black hair. Which
I got some
that's
black hair.
another thing. Yeah, he's a rock star. He's still trying to look like he did 30 years ago, but more power to him. If they got the ability, to look, still look like they did way back when, I guess more power to them. But some of us old geezers, we just gotta age, gracefully or not. But yeah, Billy Idol, good for him, man. Star on the Walk of Fame. But yeah, you're right. Anybody can buy one of
Yeah.
them. So it is what it is. But man, yeah, yeah. And then you brought this up to me. I think it's quite amazing. Taylor Swift. Holy
Yeah.
moly, there she. Oh
Well, the
man.
story is not so much her. She's the one that accomplished the feat, I guess. But to me, it's more of the feat that was accomplished. Um, Taylor Swift's most recent album, and I don't know all the details, but they dig more into this. But it sold more in vinyl than in CDs, and has the first time that has happened since 1987.
Wow.
So I'm not sure what the criteria was. I'm thinking maybe that was like for a number one album or something, or for a
Huh.
for a platinum album or something. But
I'll be
yeah, I thought
darned.
that was very interesting. First time in we're going on over 30 years now, 35 years that's happened. Obviously the CD made the big switch back then, and everybody kind of got rid of their albums, and now we're all trying to get them back, like I am back here.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely vinyl's kind of making the comeback. So yeah, pretty cool.
Sure seems like it. Good for her, and pity her boyfriends because when she breaks up with them, she writes songs about him, and it's just horrifying. But yeah, records, man, coming back. Yeah, you got a massive selection. I got about 1/20th a year selection, but
Yeah,
I
well,
sure do love my albums. The ones I have
oh
collected through
yeah,
the years, I sure do love them. Yeah.
yeah. I've kind of started collecting. I didn't have an album 12 years ago. I didn't have an album, but I've
Wow.
always been a collector. Always, always, always. Little kid going to the store and buying 45s and whatnot, whatever, and of course albums later, and different life changes that come around. I've bought and sold collections and all that, but yeah, about 10, 12 years ago, had tons of CDs. I was a DJ, so I had a lot of CDs for that. And so a lot of that collection wasn't really, for me. It was for DJing. So, so I quit doing that about 2013. and just started collecting on my own, man. Just started for me, and you know, like I said, vinyl's making the comeback. There's a lot of stuff, you know, you can't get on CD. You know, especially stuff from geezers like us that we listened to back in the day.
Here.
You can't find on CD, but you can still find it on vinyl. So
Yeah.
glad to hear a lot of people are getting back into it. You know, it kind of it's kind of a double-edged sword, but that means that many more people are at the disc replay getting vinyl before I can get to it. But you know, just a couple tips I go into since I'm a bit of a collector. If you're looking into collecting, my suggestions would be one, you know, kind of figure out what kind of collection do you want. You know, to me, I just like having the record. I don't need to have the first pressing. I don't need to have the remastered audiophile version. You know, I'm on a budget, so I'm for you know, I don't get junk. If I have it, I want it, and it's you know, all killer, no filler. So the way I approach it, I make my list. I constantly have a list of 100 albums in my wallet at all times, and these are always, it's constantly revolving. Once I get those 100, I make another 100. I think of more, I add them on. I go to record stores, you know, fairly regularly, you know, at least once, twice a month, and just whip out the list and just go down the list. I mean, now some people you can just kind of go and just be on a whim and see what they got and buy something, but you end up with stuff you don't really want a lot of times. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I kind of try to focus that way, and that way I know I'm getting something that I've put some thought into. And
Sure.
once you get it, you got to take care of vinyls. You know, as we know, it's, you know, it's a great way to listen to music just because it's so pure. But by the same point, that needle is so sensitive, and its stylus is so sensitive, even the tiniest microscopic anything will come up on it. So
Yep.
you want to take good care of your albums.
It's it. What do you got? Is that King Diamond? I was wondering. I saw that back there. What is it? No, G.G. Allen. Oh my gosh! Holy cow, Doc!
G.G. Allen.
Oh my gosh,
I got the
that's
G.G.
great.
Allen album. I thought I'd whip this one out. So yeah, I always put get the cover. You know, you get the I
Wow.
don't know what that is, vinyl or polyurethane, whatever. But it's well worth it. I mean, you start and you don't want to stack your albums, you know, horizontally either. They'll get all
No.
warped out and everything. So
Ah,
always standing up. You got to have the covers on there. They'll get ripped up and torn up over time. You know, it doesn't affect the play so much, but it definitely affects how it looks. What does affect the play? You always see the inner sleeve on these. I try to replace it with a good anti-static. You know, you gotta get these and buy them in bulk. Get the anti-static, so that kind of keeps them a little cleaner, a little you know, a little less dust on them when you go to play them. So, and a lot of people will clean. You know, we all have the little brush, you know, and the little
sure.
squirt bottle to clean them on, and a lot of people do that before they listen to it, but no, you're to do that after, as you're taking it off for next time, because then your grooves are going to be moist and wet, and then it's going to be playing, and that's how stuff accumulates and
Ah,
gumps up on your stylus and stuff. So
yeah.
yeah, you want to do the cleaning after you listen to it and give it a
Well,
spin.
I just saw a video. You know, some of my records are. I'm going to actually use this process. You use Elmer's wood glue.
Yeah,
You put it a thin layer over the
right.
top of an album, over the grooves. You let it set overnight, and the next night you peel it off,
Yeah,
and it takes all the crap with it. And
yeah.
I'm actually going to try that because some
Oh,
of
I've
my
done that.
albums,
Yeah, I've done that.
you have.
Yeah,
Ah,
I've done that. I did that to Tommy James and the Shondells album.
ah,
It was just like beat the hell. And you know, it didn't, you know, renew it 100%, but it was definitely better than it was.
yeah.
Yeah, it just kind of, you know, like says it dries, it draws up all the crap that's in there, and you know, just peel it right out of there.
Well,
So
back and also back in the day, when we record our albums onto cassette so we could play them in our car.
yeah,
And if it was a noisy track with a lot of pops and stuff, I would lay a bead of water onto the whole song. You know, because you could see the song on a record, you can see where it begins and ends. Put a bead of water on the whole song and then record onto the cassette, and the water would take away all the crap.
Okay.
all the ticks and pops and everything. It eliminated it all. And then once you get done, you just wipe down the song, get the water off there, and you're good to go. But yeah, but that was only
Yeah, I've heard that. I've never actually done that one,
but yeah,
yeah.
we did like I say, just to put it on cassette so we could hear it in our cars. But
Right. You get like
it's
that best version of it, yeah,
as
supposedly, yeah.
best possible, yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've got I don't have a big collection, but I've got some cherished albums, and I probably got a few rarities in there. I imagine I bought a lot back in the '70s, so I imagine I got some rarities, but I haven't really checked into them. But it's still very cool having them. Very
It's
cool.
just, like I say, if you go buy a new album right now, new albums are like 35, $40, man. It's not
Wow.
cheap. And
Wow.
like I said, to me, I have bought a few new ones just because, yeah, I want that new one. But for the most part, I'd rather take that 35, $40, go to a used record store and buy, 4 or 5 albums with that, so
Sure. Absolutely. Freaking A.
um
Well, there you
and it's
go, man.
important, get a good turntable too. I mean, you want to take good care of your records, you want them to sound good, you want to have something that's going to play them and sound good. So, there's the whole spectrum of crappy ones to
Incredibly expensive
incredibly
ones. Yeah,
expensive ones, yeah. But Audio Techniques is always pretty solid.
that's what I got. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what each of us have, and that's always pretty good. It's pretty good choice. I have
absolutely.
the real good one in the living room. I have a little cheap one out in the garage that I use. But yeah, man, love vinyl. Just happy to give it. That's mostly what I buy now. I still buy a few CDs from time to time, but mostly, yeah, it's vinyl. So
There you go, man.
glad it's making a comeback, and
Definitely making a comeback. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But today, well, there you go, man. Boy, my computers were playing heck with us today, but looks like we're good to go, my brother. Another good show. Another. Can't wait. I can't wait for the concert schedule to fill up. Every announcement is going to be another another great event. So come on.
You're talking about going to Janet Jackson, huh?
I probably will. Yeah, legendary Jackson family. Probably be the last chance to get to do that. So yeah, I'm going to be anxious by that time. I'm going to be anxious to get out of the house and go to a
Yeah, that's
concert.
the first. Well, as of
Right.
now, it's the first one of
May
the year. So
31st. Yeah, yeah. So it'll be very cool. But it's going to be a great year. I'm looking forward to it, man. We'll be partying hard. We'll see a lot of music and bring us home, brother.
absolutely, man. So glad you could all join us and start another year with us, and keep tuning in. And hopefully, this is your new favorite rock news show, and we'll keep working real hard for you. So until then, have a great rock and roll filled week, and we will see you next time.